JICA lecture series of Japanese development experience to date, in line with JICA Global Agenda, Cooperation Strategies by Development Issues.
Japan's experience in promoting small and medium enterprises. Funabashi Gaku, Associate Professor, International University of Japan, Senior Advisor, JICA. Introduction. Small and medium enterprises, SMEs, account for a high proportion of the total number of enterprises in Japan and provide opportunities for people to earn a living, no matter where they are in the country. While SMEs can be a driving force for economic development, people's lives are threatened when they have difficulties surviving. SME policy can be divided into two types: economic policy, aimed at promoting contribution to economic development, and social policy, aimed at protecting vulnerable businesses and workers. This video focuses on SME policy as economic policy. When non-Japanese people are asked about Japan's representative industries, the automotive and electronics sectors are the first to be mentioned. Their products contain various parts, and in many cases, SMEs produce those parts. This is the factory of Takeda Kanagata Seisakusho, manufacturer of molds and dies, in Tsubame City, Niigata Prefecture, famous agglomeration area of metal processing. SMEs have improved their technology in the traditional industry of metal processing, which began with the manufacture of iron nails. As a result, they now manufacture essential parts for the machines that produce the latest devices, such as smartphones. Let's look at how Japanese industry has evolved into the current structure and what kind of policies have been adopted to increase the contribution of SMEs. Since the Meiji Restoration, various entities had been working on small industry development. The first local industry development plan was prepared in 1884 by Maeda Masana. Not only the central government, but local governments took an important role in providing support in the Meiji and Taisho eras. With such efforts, local industries in Japan developed from agriculture to light industries such as the textile industry. For example, the spinning industry received the highest medal at the World Expo in the early 20th century, and exports increased. Although the work up until the mid-1930s is the base for SME development in Japan, today we will talk about SME's contribution to the transformation of industrial structure after World War II. Section 1. Transformation from the textile to the machine industry before World War II. It was around the time of World War II, the midpoint of Japan's more than 150-year history of modernization, that the metal processing and machinery industries became the center of manufacturing in Japan. Prior to that, the focus was on agricultural products and textiles. The transformation began in the mid-1930s, when Japan was preparing for war. In 1936, the automobile manufacturing business law was enacted. It purpose was to increase the production capacity of local manufacturers. Until then, the Japanese market had been dominated by American cars such as Ford. In the manufacture of products such as automobiles that require many parts, the development of part suppliers is an important issue. Therefore, the government designated manufacturers considering their production capacity and quality, and asked assemblers to purchase parts from them. Manufacturers were also asked to support suppliers in lending capital and machines and supplying materials. When the automobile manufacturing business law was enacted, approximately 70% of the factories manufacturing parts in Japan were located in prefectures with large cities such as Tokyo and Osaka. Interestingly, about a quarter were distributed throughout other prefectures. In Japan, from the Meiji period until the wartime regime of the 1930s, local governments, especially prefectures, had played a central role in promoting local SMEs. Increased inter-regional competition in the production of textiles had led each prefecture to support agricultural machinery, loom, and repair part businesses with the aim of improving their skills. Local governments implemented programs that established inspection centers, training centers, and exhibition of foreign machinery. Usually, birds of industry exist all over the country. If we provide light and water through support policies, they can grow and bloom. Section 2. Transformation from the textile to the machine industry. Development after World War II. After World War II, Japan experienced economic growth triggered by an increase in exports due to the Korean War from 1950. Then it joined GATT in 1955. Expecting the forthcoming trade liberalization, Japan needed to enhance the competitiveness of its domestic industries. A typical policy for strengthening competitiveness was the temporary law for the promotion of the machinery industry enacted in 1956. The main target industry was again the automotive industry. Because automobiles require many parts, the number of related enterprises was large. A ripple effect to other industries was also expected. The main purpose of the law was to improve the quality of parts by modernizing production machinery. About 130 parts, including gears and capital goods like molds, were designated as essential to automobile production. And low-interest loans were provided through public financial institutions to their manufacturers. To obtain a loan, enterprises had to submit a business plan. Adding to such an ordinary procedure, the machine industry promotion law also required a sub-industry development plan. This required the collaboration of enterprises in the same sub-industry. For example, the Japan Die and Mold Industry Association was formed in the wake of the law's enactment. Although they were competitors, they sometimes cooperated to improve their technology. In addition, domestic companies could not manufacture high-spec production machinery at the time. It was therefore necessary to import it from the United States and Europe. Given the limited amount of foreign currency in the country, the target enterprises were given priority in allocating the foreign currency necessary for imports. It was a comprehensive policy that included additional related measures such as tariff exemption for imported machinery and accelerated depreciation in accounting procedures. Imported machinery was also used as collateral for further investment. Many SMEs that benefited from this policy later grew into large corporations. Thanks to clear policy intentions and focused allocation of resources, it was possible to transform the industrial structure and establish supporting industries in which SMEs were the main players. The first issue to improve competitiveness toward trade liberalization was the improvement of technology through production machinery. In order to improve technology, funds for capital investment are required, and acquisition of such funds requires management knowledge for the formulation of business plans. Besides the machine industry promotion law, other policies had been introduced to support SMEs in terms of capital and management. One of these supports is the Shindan system. And now a few words from SME management consultant Ishida Miho.
In 1952, a system called the Diagnostic System by SME management consultant Shindan-shi, who were registered by the minister in charge of SMEs, was studied. It is easier for both SME owners and public organizations to identify supporting experts by showing who has a certain level of expertise for providing management advice. This policy was inspired by the program for supporting factories, which existed before World War II in Tokyo and Osaka. As for capital, the credit guarantee system that began in 1952 still plays an important role as a measure to support SMEs. In Japan, the credit guarantee system is slightly different from those in other countries. Each prefecture establishes a credit guarantee association, and each is insured by an institution of the central government. This system is based on the structure of the pre-war fund for disaster countermeasures. Policies which already exist in other countries have their own reasons and meanings behind them. While drawing from policy ideas from other countries, it is possible to create effective support measures tailored to individual countries by combining existing ideas in a specific country and new ideas from other countries.
Policies such as the law for the promotion of the machinery industry seem to be aimed at promoting specific industries, but they mainly targeted SMEs. It is important to have the perspectives of SME policy and industrial policy, because technological characteristics of the industry have a great influence on the development of SMEs. In addition, considering the location of SMEs, it is essential for effective policies to consider the perspective of regional economic development. I would also like to emphasize the synergy of the productivity movement that began in the mid-1950s. It was one of the factors that raised the level of SMEs and supported a major shift in the export structure. Japan's productivity movement began with support from the United States. On the other hand, one of the reasons for the rapid nationwide spread of the movement was that there was a large number of enterprises that had introduced quality control since the Meiji era. The importance of quality control was already recognized in the Taisho and early Showa eras. Section 3. Transformation to knowledge-intensive industry. In the 1960s, economic growth was achieved, and in 1971, the Japanese government laid out its next vision for building knowledge-intensive industry as the new leading industry. Knowledge-intensive refers to industries such as industrial robots, communication equipment, software, and even fashion. Subsidies were provided for SMEs that intended to focus more on research and development. However, for many SMEs, it was difficult to understand the government's intention due to the ambiguity of the policy. Hence, many SMEs were headed in a different direction. As a result, not many SMEs utilized available subsidies. What we can learn from Japan's failed cases in the transformation to knowledge-intensive industry is that we cannot expect effective results when it is difficult for SMEs to accurately understand policy goals and intention. In this session, we have considered the promotion of SMEs from the perspective of policies that plays an important role in realizing the transformation of the industrial structure. First, policies should be determined under the two basic frameworks: A. Technology, management, and capital, and B. SME policy, industrial policy, and regional economy. Then, there are three issues to be considered. 1. Clear policy intention and focused allocation of resources. 2. Constructing policy components based on an overall understanding of the related elements. And 3. Utilizing past experiences in individual countries, not just adopting policies in other countries. Implementing the same policies that have been implemented in Japan will not necessarily lead to success in your country. However, by applying these points, there is a high possibility that a method of promoting SMEs that is suitable for your country can be found.
Japan has modernized from a non-Western background to establish a free, democratic, prosperous, and peace-loving nation. In this sense, Japan is one of the best development models for the developing countries and regions today. In addition, Japan has contributed to economic growth in many developing countries, especially in Asia. Therefore, we would like to share with you Japan's unique experience of modernization, which is different from Western countries, and cooperation for developing countries through this video material. This video series provides a comprehensive summary by development issue according to the lineup of JICA's cooperation strategy called the JICA Global Agenda.